You know that moment when you're all fired up to grill, you've got the burgers seasoned, the guests are already showing up, and you go to turn on the propane and absolutely nothing happens. Yeah, we've all been there. And honestly, it led me down a rabbit hole that completely changed how I think about cooking outside. Today I want to talk about something called the backyard pit method. And before you click away, thinking this is going to be some extreme survivalist thing where you're digging trenches in your yard, just hang on, because this is genuinely one of the most practical and impressive ways to cook food outdoors. And the best part is, you can do it without walking around smelling like a campfire for the rest of the day. So let's start with the basics. The backyard pit method, in the way I'm talking about it, is essentially creating a contained, radiant heat cooking environment using coals or embers rather than an open flame. The reason you don't smell like smoke is actually pretty simple once you understand it. Smoke comes from incomplete combustion. When wood or charcoal is still actively burning and producing those visible smoke clouds, that's where the smell comes from. But when you let your fuel burn down to coals first, you've already passed that stage. The combustion is mostly complete. What you're left with is radiant heat, which is incredibly efficient and remarkably clean. Think about it like this. The flame and the smoke are kind of like the loud opening act at a concert. The coals are the headliner. They show up quietly, they don't make a scene, and they absolutely deliver. Now here's how you actually set this up in your backyard, without making it complicated. First thing you need is a fire-safe area. If you've got a fire pit, great, use it. If you don't, you can line a section of dirt or gravel with some bricks or large flat stones. You're basically just creating a boundary so you're not setting your lawn on fire, which, speaking from experience, is a conversation you don't want to have with your neighbors. Get yourself a bag of hardwood lump charcoal, not the briquettes with the lighter fluid already in them. Those additives are part of what creates that harsh smoke smell, and they can affect how your food tastes. Lump charcoal is just wood that's already been charred, so it burns cleaner and hotter. Light it up using a chimney starter if you have one, or just pile it up and use newspaper at the base. Let it burn. Walk away for about 20 to 30 minutes and let it do its thing. When those coals turn from black to a pale grey-orange color and you can see them glowing from the inside, that's your moment. That's when the smoke has largely done its job and you're left with that beautiful, even heat. Now here's where the pit method really shines, compared to just tossing food on a regular grill at this stage. Instead of cooking directly over the coals in an open environment where wind and air movement can still cause flare-ups and uneven cooking, you're going to create a more enclosed situation. You can use a cast iron Dutch oven sitting right on top of the coals. You can fashion a simple grate using metal rods, or even pick up a cheap campfire grate and set it low over your coal bed. The key is keeping the food close to that radiant heat source and optionally covering it with something, even just a piece of sheet metal or a cast iron lid, to trap the heat around the food rather than letting it escape into the open air. This is where you get the magic. The food cooks from the heat radiating off those coals, not from dancing flames, not from smoke billowing around it. The result is this incredible even cook, a crust on the outside of meat that you genuinely cannot replicate with a gas grill, and a moistness inside that comes from the food essentially steaming slightly in its own juices within that enclosed heat environment. Let me tell you about the first time I seriously did this for a group of people. I had a whole chicken. I'd rubbed it down with olive oil, garlic, salt, pepper, and a little smoked paprika. I set it in a cast iron pot, lid on, and nestled the whole thing into a bed of coals I prepared in my fire pit. I also put a few coals on top of the lid, which is an old trick that turns your pot into a makeshift oven with heat coming from both directions. An hour and 15 minutes later, that chicken was the most evenly cooked bird I'd ever made in my life. The skin was this deep, golden, crackling shell. The meat was juicy all the way through, and when I carried it over to the table, nobody said a word about smoke. Nobody's eyes were watering. Nobody's clothes smelled like they'd been at a bonfire. That's the thing about this method that people don't realize until they experience it. You can actually enjoy your outdoor cooking experience without that constant irritation of smoke in your face every time the wind shifts. For vegetables, this method is absolutely unreal. You can wrap things in foil and set them directly in the coals. Potatoes, corn, whole heads of garlic, beets. The coal roasting process caramelizes the natural sugars in vegetables in a way that nothing else really matches. A potato that comes out of a coal bed after about 45 minutes has this fluffy, almost creamy interior, and a skin that's paper thin and crispy. It's a completely different experience from a baked potato that came out of your oven. Now I want to address something that might be on your mind. What about the prep time? Because you do need to plan ahead a little more than you do with propane. With gas, you turn a knob and 3 minutes later you're cooking. With this method you need that burn down time. Here's how I handle it. I start my coal bed before I do anything else. Before I season the food, before I set the table, before I pour myself a drink, I light the coals. By the time I've done all of that other setup, the coals are ready to go. You build that time into the experience, and it actually becomes part of the ritual. Guests tend to love watching the coal bed come together. There's something primal about it that just draws people in and starts conversations. One more thing I want to mention is the fuel management side of this, because one of the underrated benefits here is that coal beds stay productive for a long time. A good coal bed from a decent amount of lumped charcoal can give you cooking heat for 2 to 3 hours, sometimes more. You can cook in stages. Start with something that needs high direct heat, then as the coals mellow out a bit, shift to something that benefits from gentler sustained heat. You're essentially cooking on a heat source that changes character as the evening progresses. And if you learn to read it and work with it, it becomes intuitive very quickly. You can also extend your coal bed by adding fresh charcoal to the edges periodically and letting it catch from the existing coals. You're not spiking flames, you're just sustaining the ember bed. And as long as you're patient about it, that new charcoal will absorb into the coal bed without producing a ton of smoke. The big takeaway I want you to have from all of this is that running out of propane is not a crisis. It might actually be the best thing that ever happened to your outdoor cooking. The backyard pit method gives you more control, better flavor, a cleaner experience, and honestly a much more satisfying connection to the food you're making. There's a reason every serious barbecue culture in the world, from South America to Southeast Asia to the American South, centers around live fire and coals rather than gas. It's not nostalgia. It's just better. So next time the propane runs out, instead of making a frantic run to the hardware store, try this. Light some charcoal, let it burn down. Cook over the coals, see what happens. I think you're going to surprise yourself. If you found this useful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because I talk about this kind of thing all the time. Practical outdoor cooking, backyard food experiments, and ways to get genuinely great results without overcomplicating everything. Leave a comment below if you've tried any version of the pit method before, or if you've got questions about getting started. I read all of those, and I love hearing what you're working with. See you in the next one.